The story that I cover today is one about appearance and reality. It is a story of a young man who appeared to be living life in a normal way. He was a quiet boy who lived peacefully with his parents. However, deep down, something sinister was brewing. Something horrific was happening. Before the parents could come to terms with the sudden change in his behavior, the young man snapped, and with results which sent shock waves in the quiet town of Bindura. In a weird case which left the people's tongues wagging, a 19-year-old boy murdered his mother on 10 August 2022 in Section 7 of Trojan Mine in Bindura. The incident was so strange that it left neighbors and the community lost for words as to what happened. Regis Rosa was described by members of Section 7 Trojan Mine community as a quiet child. However, on a Wednesday afternoon on 10 August 2022 around 2 p.m., he turned into a monster beyond description. Regis was at home with his mother and he had two grandchildren who were aged 5 and 8 respectively. He fatally attacked his mother on the head with an iron bar. Regis is said to have started acting in a weird manner in the morning of that fateful day. He waited for the men who had come to repair their stove to leave the house before he gruesomely murdered his mother, Dorcas Chigudu, 55. Mr. Bernard Chaima, who had been called to repair a stove, said that he arrived at the home around 9 a.m. and observed that the boy was acting in a strange manner. He decided to ask the mother what was going on, what was wrong with the boy. And the mother said that she was waiting for the husband so that they could take the boy to visit prophets. Little did she know that a tragedy was unfolding at that very moment. Bernard left Regis eating food and went away to look for his tools. That is when Regis attacked his mother. He had so much power that people failed to restrain him. When Dorcas served the accused and two minors food in the dining room, Regis picked up a knife and attempted to stab her. A scuffle started and the two minors ran away calling for help. Dorcas and Regis then wrestled onto the veranda. That is when he struck her on the head with an iron bar. Dorcas' body lay motionless on the veranda floor, bleeding profusely from the ears, nose, and mouth. Regis lay on top of her and started sucking her blood. This was strange indeed. This was a strange act indeed. He later used a knife to end his mother's life before cutting some pieces and eating them. He is said to have placed some of the meat in a pot. He cut his wrist with a knife and bled profusely. Miss Agnes Zizi was Dorcas' friend. On hearing screams, she rushed to the house. When she arrived, she said she saw a strange look on Regis' face. Saliva was also drooling from his mouth. He appeared to be possessed, she said. Miss Zizi stood shocked, transfixed to the spot between the staircase and the cabin. It was a scary sight as she came face to face with unimaginable horror. Miss Zizi narrated the gruesome events she witnessed. She said she stood there face to face with Regis, who was still wielding the iron bar. She asked him what had possessed him, but he did not reply. She knew what she had to do. With her grandchild strapped onto her back and with no shoes on her feet, Miss Zizi rushed to a roadblock along Trojan Road, a kilometer away, to alert the police. She came back with one police officer who fled the scene after Regis charged towards him. More police officers were then called in and they fired a warning shot in the air before they could subdue the accused. When the police arrived at the house, Regis had locked himself in a toilet behind the house and was roaring like an animal. They examined Dorcas' body and saw that she had a stab wound behind her left thigh, and the body was bleeding from the nose and from the mouth. A blood-stained knife was next to her body, and a blood-stained pan next to her head. It was too late to save Dorcas. The situation was just too strange to understand. Nothing could be done, the police indicated. Although a doctor was later called in and came in to assess the situation, he simply shook his head and was on the verge of tears. When he was asked about the situation, he said it was too late. Mr. Bernard Chaima and the police took Regis to Bindura Hospital because he had cut his major vessels on the right wrist. The hospital had no tranquilizing drugs, but later the drugs were sourced from Bindura prison. Regis' wounds were dressed and he was sent to police cells, where he is said to have lost consciousness around 8 p.m. and was rushed to Bindura Hospital. Unfortunately, he died upon arrival. Provincial police spokesperson Milton Mundembe said that they suspected that Regis was under the influence of drugs. He urged the communities to work hand in hand with the police in order to curb the menace of drugs and alcohol abuse. He said that the community should be wary of such situations, of such signs and symptoms, and check for vital signs like withdrawal, agitation, violence, or any other weird behavior. Dorcas Chikudu was described by her friends and fellow congregants as a quiet woman. She was a member of the Joanne Masowe Enguo Chena. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Regis Rosa, it is alleged, said that he acted in connivance with two other people, Brighton and Musa. This added to the mystery. Who were they and what did they have in common with Regis? He said that the others ate his mother's head and intestines while he drank the blood. Was this witchcraft? Had he lost it? What was going on? Miss Zizi said that Regis had always been with his parents and that they had never witnessed or heard that he was taking drugs or alcohol. He was a quiet boy who had no bad friends and spent most of his time at home. So what happened on this day? This is the million-dollar question. It was also revealed that the boy's sister was showing signs of being possessed. That is another mystery. All these things do not make sense. There were other possibilities. He was either taking drugs, possessed, or had mental health issues. Whatever the case, a lesson has been presented for families and societies and communities. Any unusual behavior change is worth attending to. That could be a telltale sign that things are falling apart. They say in English, a stitch in time saves 9. Procrastination is the thief of time. For Regis Rosa, it was the calm before the storm, and it was deceptive. In the process, 2 lives were lost needlessly. This is an important lesson for society. Thank you for watching this episode of Luminous Recaps. If you like the content that we present on this channel, please subscribe, make comments, share, and strike the notification bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. It is bye for now.